Hi, folks. Welcome to this week's Your Quality of Life Healthy Alternative. And today I'm extremely happy to have my friend Cathy Derksen on. Hi, Cathy. How are you today?
Hello, hello. Hi, Christine. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Cathy is not just a wealth and success coach, but she's also a 5-time Amazon #1 best-selling author and an international speaker. Women over 40 hire Cathy to reignite their life by creating confidence in their approach to wealth and success, and by discovering their inspiration and tenacity to redefine their brilliance and step into a life that excites them and brings them joy. Oh, who doesn't want it, Cathy? Good for you.
Exactly.
And wealth and success among women among the world. Everyone needs wealth and success, women, children, men. And we both are co-authors in this amazing book here. It's a multiple Amazon #1 bestseller, an international bestseller, Invincible Forevermore. And you can't see it, but on top it says invisible no more. Because all the women in there, including myself and yourself, at one point were invisible. Okay, Cathy, I'm so happy to have you here. Tell us why you used to be invisible and what changed for you.
Yeah. In my story, in my chapter in that book, it's called Peekaboo, I Don't See You. Kind of a play on the child's game about hiding your face and peekaboo, peekaboo, and just realizing that had been how a lot of my life had gone, where I was literally slipping in and out of feeling invisible for many times in my life. When I was a child, moving into new environments where there's, quite often when you move into a new school, when you're a kid, there's always some bully who's looking for someone to pick on. And so you kind of become invisible there. But the main theme story that I was telling in the book was around when in my marriage, where I was in a quite a verbal and emotional abuse type situation. And so belittled and diminished as far as what I wanted didn't matter anymore. So everything was about the kids and my husband. And it's in that whole process of living a life like that, I suddenly realized I had no idea what I liked to eat. I didn't know what kind of music I liked to listen to. I didn't know if someone said, hey, you got the weekend free, what do you want to do? And it was like, I had no idea.
You really lost yourself.
Exactly. And so that was when I started a big part of my personal evolution that I've been on for the last, I guess it's been over a decade now, that I've really been doing a lot of personal development and really focusing on the life that I'm living, and is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And back at that point when I was married and recognized, and again, when you're in those situations, you often are in kind of a blur of not recognizing the situation you're in. And it often takes something traumatic or shocking to give you that wake-up call. And so in our case, one of the things that really kind of shook me up was our family was in a car accident where we were T-boned by a motorbike. And needless to say, the poor fellow on the motorbike did not do well. And so luckily my family, we were, besides very shaken up, and some
driver, did he end up passing away from the accident?
Yes, so sorry, yes, right there at the scene.
Oh wow.
So yes, so it was quite, and obviously very sad for him. But as far as my family goes, in the situation I was in, it really became a wake-up call of how short life is, and what are we doing right now? What is my life right now, and is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And that's when I really realized the situation I was in and thought, okay, I need to get myself out of this situation. I need to get my kids out of this situation. And that's when I really started digging more into understanding myself and understanding how I could strengthen myself and take on those challenges and just move forward. And so at that time, I actually ended up leaving the marriage, taking the kids with me. At the same time, I realized that my career was also in a very toxic situation. So complete career change. So I describe it like throwing my life up in the air and reinventing it as it came back down.
Oh, that's a
So
nice analogy.
exactly. So that was one of my biggest invisibility to invincible phases that I talk about in the book.
That is a real challenge to reinvent your life. How did you do it?
Well, and that's one of the things that I've now also focused my business on, is helping other women in similar situations to I have the tools that I use and how I went through those things. I've now been able to put into a system where I can help other women going through similar things. So for myself, a lot of it was around really recognizing what I needed to do next and just really focusing on it. So even though, as you can imagine, there was ups and downs and challenges, and there were times when I thought, what have I done? You know, how did I leave that comfortable reality, even though it was, you know, very stressful and abusive? But at the same time, when that's what you're used to, that's the comfort zone,
Right. Do you
right?
want to be
So
comfortable or happy? That's
yes,
sometimes a choice we have to
exactly.
make.
And
Oh,
the earlier books that I've been involved in, I focused a lot more on that story of the first book I was involved in was actually focused on emotional intelligence
yeah.
and applying strategies and tools of emotional intelligence to get through big challenges like that.
Mhm.
And that's actually also where the name of my company came from, was that time in my life when I was going through those big things. So inspired tenacity, to me, I love the word tenacity. To me, that's the key thing that we really need to just keep on going. But
Now, tell me a little bit, for all those that may not be totally clear of what tenacity means. Explain it a little bit. That's a good word. I like it.
yeah, to me, tenacity is really about knowing that there's challenges and knowing that it's not going to be an easy road, but just keep on going. So taking on challenges as they come up, moving forward, taking on the next one, moving forward, and not giving up, not letting other things, I mean, obviously, again, things move you back and forth, your path has to change, but just keep moving in the direction that you had planned. And so, and actually back when I was going through those early days of after my divorce and starting a new career, one of the other things that I talk about in my books is I actually had a little phrase that I used to, kind of like a mantra kind of thing, just to lift myself and give myself strength at times. And it was just chin up, keep moving. And I would literally say that to myself sometimes out loud, just chin up, keep moving, go now, just go.
You know what does it for me? Where I love country music. You know, probably the song "When You're Going Through Hell," just keep moving. Same
Or
idea.
Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
So how did you actually manage just to go on? How do you do that? Because many people are tempting and say, "Oh, I'm giving up. It's too much."
I think for me, a big part of what gave me that support to keep moving forward was connecting with a community that I felt people heard me and understood what I was going through.
Yeah.
So, you know, just collecting friends, family, people around you. And that's one of the things I love about the online community as well, because you can connect so easily with people all over the world. And one of the things that I've really, and especially in the last while with everybody dealing with COVID and just trying to get through that, and so many people now online that weren't so much online before, is that you really can connect so quickly with people. But also it's really shown and reminded me that people all over the world are dealing with similar things. They're, you know, have the same needs, the same wants, that inner human is the same all over the world.
I truly believe that. I too speak with a lot of people all over the world, and I sometimes say everybody over 15 has a story.
Yes.
And
Oh,
those
yes.
stories are amazing, just like yours. And it is a true honor and pleasure to be able to connect to other people and listen to those stories and learn
Mhm.
from them and maybe even share them like you are allowing us to do. And that is
Yes.
such a privilege, really. Thank you for that, Kathy. Tell us a little bit more about how you then morphed you to the woman you are today.
Well, I've definitely continued on that path of personal development and really trying to dig deeper and understand why I'm here. What is my purpose? Why are we here? And why do we get up in the morning? It's like, what's that next thing that you really need to do? And I just really recognized that I'm a people person that needs to be helping other people lift themselves. And like you mentioned, the mission of my company is to create a cycle of wealth and success among women around the world. So to me, what that means is that my role, my calling here is to help other women get through big challenges, help other women to have the tools and the support they need to move forward in their life. And I find that the more I do that and the more I connect with other women's organizations that are doing those sorts of things as well, that it really just lifts the energy. It lifts the just the way and the inspiration to move forward and to continue, and so it kind of expands on itself. And with that cycle of wealth and success I refer to too, I see it becoming more like a web. So in my experience, as we help a woman to create a better situation for herself, improve where she's at, most women tend to reach out and then help somebody else do the same. So in my vision, it really becomes a web of
I
that
like
wealth
the
and
idea of
success.
a web,
Mhm.
because isn't that like a safety net where all of
Exactly.
us
Yeah.
lift each other up? And I love that. It is a wonderful analogy, not a spider web that traps you, no, the
Yeah.
opposite, a safety web that all the women together are all people, really, because women are just people like everybody else.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
happen
Yes.
I happen to have a husband, and I love him deeply, although he's not perfect. Am I? I always thought I was.
I would say none of us are. No,
No, really.
we'd be
I
kind
have
of boring if
fun
we
with
were
that
too perfect.
sometimes. Yeah, exactly. It is what would be really boring. But some people still think they are, and they have to go through challenges to learn maybe they're not.
Yes, that is very true. Very true.
Wow, it's really amazing, Kathy. And I love your focus on meaning and purpose. Isn't it something we all need to discover as we move on with our life and get older? Now, I turned 60 this year. And I know for me, my meaning and purpose is extremely important. That's what makes me get up in the morning. That was makes me want to do what I'm doing and share what I learned in my experience and world, and share it with others. And I found many, especially women, interesting that have the same drive, not so much for the money involved with it. Of course, we
Yeah.
need money
No.
to live, but
Yeah.
more for the impact, for the growth that we can have ourselves and also move forward and give to others.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, that kind of is part of my story as well. So my original education and career, I actually worked in medical genetics. So I worked in medical genetics for 25 years.
Interesting.
And most of that was working in hospital labs. There was some public education as well, but mainly in hospital lab situations, analyzing chromosomes and fun stuff like that, but very isolated, right? So we really didn't have contact with other people. We just received specimens and processed them and sent out reports.
Mm.
Whereas I really came to realize that I'm a people person, and that job even though I love the field and I'm always curious about biology and genetics and things like that, but I recognize that I need to be in a situation where I am in direct contact with people, and that I am feeling that I'm being of service and helping other people move forward. So no, I think you're very right that so many of us, there's that need to have that purpose and to have that, why am I getting out of bed in the morning?
You know, the purpose is really important for all humans, I think. I don't know if you probably read a lot of books because you're an author yourself, and authors tend to read a lot. And I know I myself do too, as an author myself. And one of the books that impressed me the most was Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. I had the fortune in the 70s, before he died, when I was a medical student,
Oh, wow.
in Ulm in Germany. And sadly, I wasn't evolved enough to appreciate what an honor that was. I just went there, listened to it, and thought, wow, that's interesting. That was it. And later it came back to me. And when I read the book over again, I said, wow, I didn't realize what that man really went through.
Yes, yes.
And how strong a person he is. And his meaning and purpose, Man's Search for Me, it's one of the best books. I recommend it for anybody. I just wrote a book review on my website about it. It's an awesome book.
It's a pretty small book, so it's not like it's not a big read. It's just a big thought. There's a lot
impact.
of thinking that needs
like
to
many
get applied
books,
to.
and I know your books are not that big, but I think they can have a big impact. Just like this little book, it's really not a very big book when you look on the side. It's not like Stephen King's. I mean, there are 600 pages. That's a hard read for many people that are ADD today. This has many chapters, and every of these women, like you, Cathy, has an incredible story of challenge and success over circumstances.
Yes, and I've found with the books that I've been involved with that when I first started writing in these collaborative books, I guess it was more of a way for me to put my story out there, and in a way it's almost therapeutic to kind of go through your story and have to put it down on paper. And so at the beginning, I really hadn't realized what the impact was on other people reading the stories. And I've had so many women follow up and say, you know, your story really helped me, or your story made me realize that, you know, it's not just me, and that I can get through this and I can move on to the next thing. And so it's that ripple effect of sharing your story, and then it impacts other stories that really just kind of amplify out from there. It's really an amazing process to be involved in books like that.
Yes, Cathy, and you're not just involved in those books, but you're really paying it forward by coaching women as a wealth and success coach, and helping them really live their best life and find that little spark in them, and the joy and the passion that we all need to really truly be the best we can be. Now, if somebody that's listening or watching the video wants to contact you, what's the best way to get to you and to maybe work with you?
The simplest way is through my website. So it's just inspiredtenacity.com. And through there, there's links there to book a time to talk. There's information there about my different programs and about my books. So that's generally the quickest way. There's a link to my email there as well.
So that's wonderful. And I'll make sure the video version will have a link under your image with your name. And so everybody can go to there. And underneath, of course, in the description, you can click on it and see Cathy and talk to her. And if you like what she has to say, hey, maybe you want to work with her or collaborate on a book, or have her write a story for your book, because I read her story. It's good. You want to get that book and check her story out. I put the link underneath too. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much, Cathy, for being on the show, and I wish you all the best.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I always love sharing with the community.